So what's going on, guys? Mr. Dalek JD here, and welcome to an EXO Zombies video. We're going to be taking a look at the intro and outro cutscenes for EXO Zombies Carrier and taking a look at the storyline. And I want to give a big shout out to Lonely Mailbox for creating a video which inspired me to create this one by implanting an idea which I want to speak with you guys about and expand on a little bit more detail and talk about some other things that I've found on the map which relate to the storyline of EXO Zombies. So if you guys enjoy this, smash that like button. I really appreciate that, and make sure to check out Lonely Mailbox's video, which I'll have in the description for you guys as well. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are asking, why has Oz become a zombie? And to answer this question, we need to go back. We need to go look through everything so far in EXO Zombies to try and really work this out. But the first thing that we can look at is the EXO Zombies Carrier intro cutscene. So let's play it for you now.
One shot to the head, my head, and the fog lifted. His name is Lennox, works for Sentinel. They think they're the good guys.
You bastard! You shot Oz!
That thing you call Oz? He's the source of the infection. A bullet's not gonna stop him.
What the fuck are you talking about? The man is dead.
Well, so were you once. And you. And you. You see a pattern here?
We ain't no zombies. Ow!
Alice inbound. 5 miles and closing.
They're early. Load him up.
An absolutely insane intro cutscene there, guys. So what I'm going to do now for you is I'm going to show you some very specific parts of that cutscene which definitely tell us some interesting things about the story.
That thing you call Oz? He's the source of the infection. A bullet's not gonna stop him.
What the fuck are you talking about? The man is dead.
Well, so were you once. And you. And you. You see a pattern here?
Now I wanted to point out this section first because this is pretty crazy. Lennox is saying to our characters that they were once dead. Now this is very important to remember because this is quite an interesting topic for this video. The fact that it's weird that he said that they have all been dead before but they are still here right now, which could mean only one thing, right? Let's keep going forth and let's look a little bit more into the cutscene.
One shot to the head, my head, and the fog lifted.
Now this section is also interesting because Oz mentions something about the cloud finally being lifted, which meant throughout his entire experience fighting with this crew, fighting against the zombies, there's always been some sort of weird thing that's been causing him to feel slightly weird. And then he said there that the cloud has finally been lifted. So now that he's no longer a human, he's been shot dead, he feels like the cloud's been finally lifted off him. Now we know that these people all worked for Atlas, and in a way Atlas are monitoring them the entire time by sending down, drops to help them out throughout this, almost like as if a sort of simulation or sort of survival test. The first map definitely seemed to indicate that. So I'm guessing along here that with our group of characters, throughout the entire time they've been drugged, because there's no other real explanation for what the exact cloud could mean, besides maybe some sort of hallucination which they've been having the entire time, or what I'm seeming to think more along the lines of some sort of drug which enables to stop them from becoming a zombie. And there's a lot of other stuff throughout the other cutscenes which seem to back up this statement. So if we jump back to the infection opening cutscene, we see them fighting against tons and tons of zombies, but eventually they all get wiped out. They all die. They all die from this zombie apocalypse, and we see a group of Atlas people come in and save them, which does seem a bit odd. Again, which goes back to my little point about how Atlas kind of are always watching down on our crew and kind of seemingly watching them try and stop this outbreak which Atlas started in the first place. But it's very interesting because when they do get saved, the Atlas crew are all wearing what looks like gas masks and really like high security outfits which stop them from like breathing in the air in the surroundings. So it's quite weird to me that they're wearing such like over the top outfits when our normal crew are just wearing clothing and just breathing the air. So it seems to me like the whole atmosphere will just turn you into a zombie. The entire infection is literally caused from being in the surrounding of the zombies. So it's quite surreal that these characters seem to be fine. They get put in these body bags, which to me seems like they're being pumped with this drug again, which stops them from turning into zombies themselves, because otherwise why would all this Atlas crew be wearing these really over-the-top outfits to protect themselves? So with this whole drug idea and the fact that Lennox said that all the characters have been dead before, that indicates that they've all been zombies at some point during this infection. But the very interesting thing is when Lennox says that Oz is the source of the infection, like as if to say Oz is the cause of this entire zombie apocalypse, which is why he had to be taken out, and that is why he's now turned into a zombie. But another thing which is weird is we can look at like Oz's behavior even before this moment in time. If we look again in the infection cutscene, we can see one point where like Oz runs out of ammo and thinks it's okay to start biting the zombies like on their necks in order to take them out, which is not normal behavior whatsoever and is not a method you typically use to start killing zombies. Another thing to back up Lennox's quote about Oz being the source of the infection is looking around the carrier map. We can see parts where it says that Oz is patient 0, almost like as if to say he is the very first patient who was suffering from the zombie infection. We can see pictures of him, we can see bodies in the background outside of the map where they look like they've been tested on. Some of them are deceased as well. We can see barrels which contain what I'm guessing is the drug, because we can see the same symbol on them as we can see in the infection intro cutscene. But also very interesting, there's a chart which shows part of Oz's brain which is zombified, like it's 76% or something crazy like that. But now if we look at the outro for this map, the crew finally realize now that from Lennox shooting him dead, he's not dead, he has actually become a zombie. And it sounds like he's saying either Lily or help me, but he definitely says something which attracts Lilith's attention. So I'm assuming that he does say Lily, and if he does say that, then that indicates that Oz isn't quite zombie yet. Like he's almost there, he definitely looks it and acts like it, but there's still some part of Oz left in him, and that little indicator for the zombie percentage in the med bay kind of backs up that theory that he's not fully zombified yet. So maybe in the next map we're going to be helping Oz try and get rid of the infection and become human again. I'm not too sure, but he's definitely not fully human as he does recognize Lilith. Now it wouldn't seem it in the intro cutscene, but Lennox and Oz have a relationship which dates back quite a far distance. I want to thank a subscriber for sending me this clip of a very interesting quote from Lennox in game, so let's take a listen.
This goes all the way back to New Baghdad. Atlas dropped a special DNA bomb on a prison. Oz was there. I know because he used to work for us.
Now this is a really interesting quote, because that means that the outbreak, or the zombie outbreak that we're seeing, started in New Baghdad, which is the prisons within the mission captured in the Advanced Warfare campaign, but can also relate to the prison of Riot, where the initial outbreak started. Remember in that bonus wave, the DNA bomb dropped and suddenly everyone in those cells turned into zombies? Well, even at that very moment, Lennox and Oz knew each other in some sort of way. Now Lennox says that Oz used to work for him. Now we're not too sure if Lennox is meaning as in he used to work for Sentinel, or if he used to work for Lennox who used to work at Atlas, because we know when the outbreak started, Oz was working at Atlas as a very boring job, as just a sort of cleaner, almost in a way to kind of set himself up to look deeper into what Atlas were really doing. But if you look at things in another light, Lennox seems to be the villain of EXO Zombies, but in a way he's also not the villain, because if we think about Atlas are the forefront villains of this entire thing. They are not willing to help out R4 in any way, shape or form. They're just literally trying to see if they'll survive this outbreak of the zombies, but they're not doing anything to actually save them. There's like points where they could have saved them, like in the infection intro, it looks like they saved them, transport them over to the infection Burger Town area, but again, they don't save them from this outbreak. It still goes on. They still try to see what this crew can do, and the very least that they do is just give them drops which help them out, and that is literally it. So it seems like Lennox is almost in a way trying to save us, even though it doesn't seem like it at the time. He transports us over to this carrier. Oz says in the cutscene that we are Atlas prized pets, but the whole point of Lennox taking the rest of our crew over to this carrier is to destroy the engine and to blow up this little carrier to hopefully stop the infection from Atlas. But it seems like, of course, as we see, Oz is kind of in the midst of all that's going on by coming out at the end and surprising us by becoming a zombie and trying to attack us. So in the next map, like I mentioned earlier, it probably will be that we're going to be helping out Oz, but it's just one big, massive, crazy story that we kind of, as like casual EXO zombie players, haven't really realized, because if you think about it, it all started back in the campaign Captured, where that Manticore strike dropped. It seemed to kind of kill off anyone that wasn't part of Atlas, which caused the zombie apocalypse to happen. They take the bodies back, but of course something goes wrong. That DNA bomb drops and they start to turn into zombies, and it's ever since then that we've been trying to sort this out for seemingly ordinary people who work for Atlas, who of course won't be affected by that DNA bomb because they are part of Atlas, are seemingly then thrown against Atlas, and they now have to work for themselves to try and defend against a zombie apocalypse which Atlas have caused. But then at some point the characters all became zombies, but then Atlas saved them from becoming that by drugging them, and they're not helping them out whatsoever besides dropping them like Atlas care packages. But as like a location for the next map, I have absolutely no idea where they could go from here. It could again still continue on from this carrier, probably the cutscene will start, but I have no idea what exactly is going to happen. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. This is a pretty in-depth video and I'm really excited to bring you this, guys. A lot of people have been asking me to bring you a breakdown of the end cutscene, but I thought I'd go a little bit more in depth in the story in general. Hopefully the next map will bring us loads and loads of answers, but also give us more and more questions. This like storyline is getting so deep and I just want to know more, but we can't know more until we get more. So whenever DLC 4 comes around, I'll bring you guys another one of these videos. But if you enjoyed it, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you on another one soon.